Yeah, so I'm Bill Schiffmiller, and I'm a lifelong hearing aid user, and my background is in accessibility, design, and the realm of hearing loss. And I led accessibility initiative for Apple retail for 10 years, and I embarked on Akoio, which is a consultancy on accessibility and auditory matters for our clients. I have a hearing loss since birth, and I've been wearing hearing aids since I'm 6 years old. So the realm of hearing loss, because I have a profound loss, it made me the ambassador on hearing loss and what it means for everyone else. And I'm really passionate about how my sensitivity to hearing, noise, and sound can be shared with many. And so that's my mission work, is how do we make everyone aware so that we can all start to lead our lives in a simpler fashion. If you take a moment, we can close our eyes, but we can't close our ears. If we just take a moment for 15 seconds, you will soon realize that I'm getting some peace with my vision, but I can't shut the noise that's going on around me. That is constant. We need to take that into account in the places that we work in the places that we serve. Making music, background music louder, having soundscape for everyone when it isn't. It's not a one solution for all. And just because silence seems to be the answer, it's not. Everybody's perception of noise, sound, and hearing differs. What we need to think about is, what is hearing health or auditory health? Think of it in three ways. We call it the three cornerstones. Hearing for communication, noise, which is disruption, and sound, which is like your wellness piece. How do we separate those things, but at the same time think of them working cohesively? Auditory fatigue. When you're in a space and you are exposed to all kinds of auditory noisy disruption, loudness as in decibel and frequency, and you combine all those things, it's going to cause stress, which will ultimately lead to fatigue. Now, a customer can go in and go out, but what about the employees in the space that are exposed to that all day long, and they're expected to produce, to put a smile on their face, producing great customer service? It's going to get to them, and it affects them mentally and physically. So remember I said earlier about closing your eyes? Well, imagine you close your eyes and you go into space, let's say a cafe, and I can smell that coffee. Well, imagine you go in and you're hearing something that can set the tone on what this experience is going to be. Am I going to feel confident that I can engage with someone there to help me with what I'm looking for? Help answer questions that I don't know answer to, I don't know which product. So think about the restaurant experience. When you go in and you can't enjoy the meal with your friends and family, imagine how can I enjoy this experience I'm about to embark in this space, regardless of what the product is, regardless of what the ambience is in this space. I need to feel assured that I'm going to align with somebody without auditory matters interfering. It's an afterthought. Brand do a great job thinking about what are the nuances of the brand that create great value. We talk about What are the visual representations that we need in terms of the brand, in terms of our physical spaces? What kind of sustainable material are we going to use in that space to show that we are reducing our carbon, and we believe in that. But we get it to the point where sometimes the aesthetics of the brand or the aesthetic of the design of that space takes over, and it's not a great solution for attenuation, reducing noise in a space. So it should not be an afterthought. It should be part of the process in the beginning. As you talk about what kind of experience you want to create, you must have the auditory aspect of it. We spend a lot of time thinking about ADA, American Disability Act, and there's a checklist. You have to show that you're in compliance with the law. Well, many companies push back on ADA because they fully don't understand it. And they think, well, we're just going to do it as a checklist item. But when it comes to auditory matters, we don't know enough about it. And we have to be talking about it in order to consider it into what we're bringing to our customers and to all of our stakeholders. It is an exciting time. I've been in the accessibility space for over 10 years. And in the last 3 years, I've never seen where accessibility in terms of service, in terms of technology, coming together. Now, accessibility is not about those with specific needs, it's accessibility for all. And that's where auditory matters come into account. Think about the impact of noise has on accessibility. It affects anyone, regardless if they have a hearing challenge or not. But think about anyone with a vision, dexterity, or cognitive challenge. We're recognizing all of these different challenges, and auditory had a big play on it. And we are now beginning to see that. And retailers are beginning to understand, okay, we see all these physical and health, mental issues. We need to be considering it, including auditory matters. Yeah, so absolutely. Wellness is your overall well-being. It can be mental, it can be physical. Auditory health is how am I processing those three components that I just mentioned: hearing, sound, and noise. And how did that fit into my overall makeup of my well-being? So I think with auditory experience, it's about what can we do in the moment that will allow you to feel better and produce work and have great relationship with those around you. Once you have that, that's where it starts to fulfill the overall wellness. Wellness is about an outcome. Auditory health is about what am I doing moment to moment. Yeah, so there are companies doing a great job in putting out accessibility related spaces, like a sound booth. Just having it there does not necessarily mean that you just completed your whole program on what auditory health is. Pull back and let's talk about what is going on in the name of auditory health in your world. Are you shy? Do you mumble? Do you have communication challenges with your peers? We need to take those kind of things in context as it addresses employer-employee dynamic and the way we communicate. Once we take into account of what our auditory world is like, then we can be halfway and say, I get why you do that, why you speak the way you speak, or why you have a certain attitude. You may be an introvert and you have great potential, but you may not necessarily interact well with the team, but you're a great contributor. How do we find a solution for that? So we need to be thinking about, okay, how does noise, sound, and hearing affect each of us? And how do we find a way to meet halfway? maybe not meeting halfway, but how do we work throughout the day in given situation, depending on the work that we're doing, that make it productive for everyone. Absolutely. We became very aware during the pandemic when we had to work remotely how our environment had changed. We're no longer, at the time we weren't in the office having these social interaction with our peers. You became aware of, okay, I may be in a more quiet space, or I may be in a more noisy space because I got kids and I love my kids, but they're too noisy. We become a world of video conferencing. So to be on call all the time through your ears, may it be through a hearing aid, earbud, or headphone, or even speaker for that matter, we are so exposed to that auditory aspect of it. Also, our devices have sound notification. So you are being alerted all day long with these bing, 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 boing, whatever interfering. It's like a little child going up to his mom, pulling on his skirt, mom, 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 or somebody poking you constantly. It becomes annoying. It becomes a nuisance. So now we also notice how sensitive we are to all of the noise in the street. We have siren, we're more aware of that, but we don't know, we're unconsciously aware of it, but we don't know where it's coming from. Now that we're getting back to the workplace, we realize, oh, I am coming out of the confines of my own space into a more open space. Whoa, where do I start? And there was this group out of the UK that did this report, and they came out with a study that said that 68% of younger cohort looking for employment take noise and acoustic level into account of the potential space they're going to work in. That is a factor into accepting a job or not. So we need to be taking that into account. We are overwhelmed, we are bombarded with all kinds of noises than ever before. You may notice how the air was cleaner, how the streets were quieter when we were under quarantine. But now that we're out of that, it's nonstop. It takes time. People need to get to know you and your work, but you also have to be open and willing to share with confidence. In my case, my hearing loss. Very often people will ask me, what is that accent of yours? Are you German? Are you from Italy? Or are you Arnold Schwarzenegger, like from Austria? And I call that my deaf accent, because I've endured 13 years of speech therapy, and that is my accent. By talking about it, people go, oh, I didn't even know you had a hearing loss. So to be open and to share, and people get past that, that's where, okay, he just opened our eyes on what is out there. What else is there? Let's talk about that. Accessibility is not only personal to me, for me because of my hearing loss, but my father also had polio. And so his limp was noticeable. But he was a very successful businessman. So instead of using accessibility as a form of empathy and sympathy and using it as a pity, and the thing that really irks me is you have brands that may slap a picture or a video of someone in a wheelchair, or you have ASL speakers. That's great and dandy, but you need to really show that you have value and that you embrace accessibility. Just slapping those visuals does not necessarily mean that's what you're all about. So you need to show that you value accessibility, You're hiring people who have accessibility needs, but you need to recognize what their talents are, not what they're lacking. And you need to show to the community that you really believe in accessibility. This is how I look at accessibility. It's about embracing our differences for the sake of innovation. No matter where you are in an organization, you do your work so well, but how can accessibility add value to what you do so well at? Think about what it's going to lead to. The classic example is the wheelchair ramp. Now that started out with a basic need, but look what it led to. Many people take advantage of that ramp without even thinking twice about it. So that little slope on a curb impacts millions. Think about what impact you're going to make when it comes to accessibility, and even auditory health matters. How we communicate. We spend a lot of time analyzing how we speak and what the person said, even in the way we write in our email. We are so consumed in this highly communicated world that we forget what is being said in between. We need to pull back and say, look, the way that person said it would mean, well, let's understand where they're coming from. And so we may mishear things. And the thing that really gets me is, because of my own hearing loss, I have to work twice as hard to get everything in context before I can respond. And some people will say, oh, you misheard. No, I didn't mishear that. It's what I heard. So I need you to understand where I'm coming from. I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. And, you make light of a situation. I was actually I used to be in magazine publishing, and I was a designer. And one of the senior people came into the room and goes, I want to show you what I am designing. And I said, what, you're resigning? So understanding how that sounds, that's what I heard. Now you may think I misheard that, but then let's laugh about it. So if we laugh about it and get over the old stigmas around hearing loss, grandpa's old hearing aid, he was a nasty man, because he couldn't hear, for crying out loud. So let's get past that and embrace our differences for the sake of innovation.